Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I have a rustic, kind of textured duo of cards to share with you. I'm using one of the newly released sets, Beautiful Memories. It's got some beautiful florals, and I'm also using lacy scallop circles just to create a negative stencil. I'll save that piece I cut out for something later to use down the road, but I just want the negative circle because I want to do some embossing paste on there, and I need something to create that circle. So I'm holding that in place with some Post-it tape, and I'm going to color my white embossing paste, create a custom color using some olive dye ink. You can use any non-stick mat. I found just an inexpensive, easy way to do it is use just a sheet protector that you can get in an office supply store or section or whatever, and then I slide just a piece of printer paper in there to make it white so I can see what I'm doing. And if it gets damaged or ruined or stained, I just throw it away and start over. Those page protectors come in a pretty good pack, and I've used this one for lots of stuff, and it still hasn't seemed to end up destroyed or ruined or anything. So I've gotten a lot of use out of this one. All right, I pulled my mask off, and as you can see, I have the circle there. It's not perfect, but I kind of don't mind that little bit of smudging out of the lines. It kind of goes with that rustic texture I'm going for. All right, I'm going to clean off my little application tool real quick there. I don't want that embossing paste to dry on there. And now I'm picking one of those florals that I'm going to stamp on. Now, one thing really important if you try this, make sure you have water handy and you're ready to clean your stamp image right afterwards. I went ahead and used pigment ink because I wanted to stamp into that embossing paste while it was wet. As you can see, I didn't really get a very dark impression. I'm going to restamp over it down the road here when it dries, but in hindsight, I think I would actually do it, just stamp it dry without any ink on there, and that's going to create kind of that texture, kind of stamp a 3D image into it. It's going to add some texture to it. Now I would take this either to your sink or just make sure you have a pan of water to submerge it right away and clean it. To quickly show you, I just used some water in a spray bottle and a damp cloth to clean it off, but you're going to want to get that embossing paste off your stamp right away so it doesn't have a chance to dry on there and cause any damage. Now, kind of as an afterthought, I had a little bit of embossing paste tinted left over, and I decided I didn't want it to go to waste, so I went ahead and just kind of created a little smudged on space on my white cardstock there. Now I set this aside to dry, so there's some time that lapsed in there because it's completely dry. You can see I can rub my finger on it and the embossing paste is solid. I wanted to kind of see how it reacted with stamping on the dried embossing paste. So I'm using that same pigment ink again because I want something that'll stamp nice and solid and bold over the top of that. And I went ahead and stamped it twice just to make sure I got it in all those little nooks and crannies. And I really liked this effect as well. I honestly couldn't decide which way I kind of liked better. That was too pale. You can see the wet embossing paste did not take up the ink. So I kind of had to get my head in there, excuse me, but I fit my stamp image back into kind of the grooves that it created. I didn't perfectly line it up, so there's a little bit of a shadow effect. But when you look at that one and feel it, you can see and feel a little bit of a 3D appearance to that one that's a little different than that one stamped over the top. It's not a huge difference, so kind of depends how you want to use your stamps and ink pads. Thanks so much for coming by today. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day.